everybody! It's been a killer week over here. We've already had our second heat warnings of the year. Oh, our second! Fortunately, this time it was just a couple of days rather than a full week. On the less pleasing side of things, though, I didn't get as much of my novel finished as I was hoping to this week. I found a chapter that's going to need most of a rewrite since the original characters in that scene aren't the ones that are in it now. And while I wish I could just copy-paste over one character's name with another, that's unfortunately not how it works. I also ran into a problem with the timing of the scene. The new one had a way better opening, but at the same time, I really needed it to happen later in the story. I spent a good 2 days puzzling over it, until I figured out what to do. Now, though, I only have 17 more pages to go. I am so close! So close! In better news, since I rarely have one without something from the other side, I gave my presentation for the Arwa community that I mentioned last week, and it went over amazingly well. I just need to edit my current document so it's more focused when I give my presentation, since this one is more on 3 different forms of neurodiversity, rather than just focusing on aphantasia. After I've given my presentation later this year, I will be putting out a 3-part series on writing with neurodiversity. I should have more details for that in August for you. Another thing I've been doing this week is trying some new drawing programs out. I really like my current one, Concepts. It's a simple program, but very much a pick up the pen and draw sort of thing. On the other hand, I'm finding that it's missing a lot of the bells and whistles that the other programs seem to have. Unfortunately, the ones I've downloaded seem to be more editing programs than drawing programs. At least for me. I'm looking for the functionality to just pick up and draw. 5 to 10 types of pens maybe, the ability to create shapes on the go. Like if I need a square or a circle, using a tool would be way easier than trying to draw one from scratch. And maybe a few of the other abilities like erasing, copy-pasting elements, blurring tools, and more colors. Oh, and a hue saturation changer are essentially what I'm looking for. I've seen a lot of people using their Apple tablets to draw on YouTube, and they seem to have a drawing program that's very similar to what I'm looking for, so I might have to look into that and see if there's a Windows equivalent. Let me know in the comments what you suggest and what you're using right now. I don't mind paying for it, even if I can't afford it immediately, so please, just let me know what you're using. I'm also hoping to do a sketching stream one day. Sometime in the future, I don't know exactly when. But I would definitely love to be able to show you. Alright? Keep that in mind. I've also been planning on what I'll be working on next. While book 4 is ready to start editing, I really want to see what the editor thinks of book 3 first, and what changes end up being permanent before I start doing that. And that means I'll be starting book 4 after book 3 is through its second set of edits. November is going to be my attempt to finish writing book 5, of course, and that way it can sit around after I finish it. I like leaving books for at least a year, if possible, at least 6 months if not. However, that does leave the upcoming July completely empty for me. And while it would be nice to just not do any novel work for a month, I honestly think that would drive me mad. Writing may be my job, but if I'm not spending some time writing something new, even if it's just a chapter every few weeks, I get very, very, very irritated. Grumpy! Grumpy! So it's lucky that July happens to be one of the NaNoWriMo camps, and I'm thinking I'm going to join. However, instead of writing in this world, I'm doing some planning and some general world building on the first novel I ever tried to write. Well, I should clarify that. Not my first novel that I tried in high school, but the first novel I tried when I was doing NaNoWriMo. At its base, it's a star-crossed lover story in a fantasy world. However, I need an overall plot. Something for my characters to do that isn't staring across the room at their love longingly every 5 minutes or so. You know me. I write relationships, but the world does not stop because you got your heart broken or you've fallen in love. So, while I have a general cast, I haven't put a world to them yet. Now I'm working on that world history and coming up with racial histories and stuff. So we've been working on a lot of awesome ideas with my husband. If all goes well, I may end up having a completely new standalone novel that I'll be working on. Hopefully I'll have more to tell you later, and if I do, I will be doing it next month. For now, I will say that it is taking a relatively dark turn, though at this early stage I'm not exactly sure how dark it will end up being. I will say this, it has two main races in the world. In my original book, one of the races was essentially a shape-shifting elf. Now, this character is way more interesting, with a full culture forming behind her, and it's adding a dimension that I'm really loving the idea of. It's looking like it might end up being a political thriller, though with, of course, the star-crossed lovers as the main characters. But that genre could change. I don't know. I still haven't found the exact right story, but it does look like it is going to have a lot of political stuff to it. Right now, it's still at a very much of a throw the spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks stage. Despite that, I'm already super excited to be writing it. And that said, of course, I won't be letting my Kitsune Ken novels fall behind. Getting that series out to you guys is my first priority. This one is just an awesome idea that I would love to work on. Oh, and one last update from last week. I said in my last Person Behind the Pen video that I would be putting the TV over here out for you to download. As of Wednesday, I got it out, but this is the first video I've actually been able to let you know that it's out. So, I will have the links below, check in the description. You can download it and use it, no payment necessary, but credit would be much appreciated if you do. Let me know too, I love hearing when people use my stuff. Also, I'm already working on my first plushie doll to change up here. If you've been watching my feeds in other places, you may have already seen a bit of my work on it. In case you aren't following me in there, I will put those links up for the remainder of the video over here on the television. And they will be in the description as well, so that you can just do the clicky if you want. I will be putting out the dolls as well, but probably when I get a set of like 3 or 5 or something, rather than just everyone individually. Either way, I will let you know when it's done, and I can place it in my new room here and show you exactly what it looks like. Okay? And that's going to be everything for this week, okay?